Fire Force.
Great episode.
Listen, this was a lot for me. I'm not gonna lie. This is some unhealthy shit. Okay? This is not good. I enjoyed the episode. I just want to say that. First of all, I just want to highlight Haumea. She's officially Spider-Woman.
Haumea is just cool. She's cooler here than she is in the manga by a lot.
Really?
Yeah, now again, like I'm not doing the thing where I go back and reread as it happens, but I do not remember the scene that they included where it was her and Charon when she was like a kid.
Yeah, kid. Yeah.
But that was like super fucking endearing. Like for a psychopath, like I thought that including that scene, I don't know. I just feel like they're humanizing a lot of these characters.
Yes.
That I don't remember. I don't remember that much work going into it because like Charon got a hero moment, a big time hero moment in this episode, despite the fact that like so far he's the strongest adversary that the 8th Squad has like come up against directly. Like crazy shit. So yeah, and then the only thing I really remembered was the Nataku Kurono relationship being central to like the end of this little mini arc, and they did a good job with that, but I didn't remember like all this. Haumea got a lot of shit going on.
Man, that the fact that she literally saw Charon like maybe dying in front of her face, and she was like, "I deal with it.
That's true.
I'm going home."
Well, everyone was like, "Oh wait, we're fucked," but that also shows you how crazy they all were, right? Like,
oh my god, Inca. I swear to fucking God, I cannot stand that. She's only been here for one season. I can't, not even a full season. I cannot stand that character. I mean, listen, Okubo, you did it. You did it. I like it. But god damn. Like, even her shit where she basically was just like, oh, yep, I already know what's in store for his future. And I'm just like, what the?
Well,
so your power has evolved? Like, I think maybe what is like so crazy for me with this most recent arc is like they're highlighting their craziness.
Yes.
Like, a lot.
That's actually the thing I like the most about what they've done and what Okubo did with like the entire cast of villains is that they're all insane, but they're all insane in very different ways. And in fact, it's the pillars who are all crazy. But because
Ritu basically was like, we gotta go.
Yeah, all the Guardians are just true believers, and in fact, if you take away like the what it is that they actually adhere to, which I guess is its own kind of insanity, if you want to think of it that way, like they're all kind of normal. Like Charon just like really wants to take care of all of the pillars, and that's all he thinks about is like how to do that. Now, obviously, he is a raging psychopath. We've seen this multiple times
in his own way,
right, but it's also kind of humanizing and endearing the lengths and the sincerity that it's clear that at least those characters really have towards what they think of as like their duty. Obviously, their duty is going to resolve in like millions of people dying, but like it is as we learned from our own Commander Chief. It is what it is.
Oh my god. In other news. Ugh.
So yeah, I really liked I like this episode for a lot of reasons. First of all, you got to see more of Kurono's powers. That's sick. That fucking sword he pulled out. Oh
my god, that sword.
And I also it was good for everyone to recognize that like were it not for Charon just busting out like a moment, everybody there was dead. There was no like, power friendship. There was no anything. That kid freaked out and would have destroyed everything there.
Oh, speaking of power friendship, I got something to say later.
Oh boy.
Ooh, put a pin in that.
Okay, we'll remember that one.
I got this shit right here. Because some of y'all are idiots. Okay.
Love to hear it.
So, honestly, I legit said, what the fuck about to happen? Is Benny Morrow gonna show up? Because I don't see you getting out of this shit. And then Charon had a big moment that I did not expect him to have. But also, I just want to say, whenever something touches the moon, that's not a good thing.
No.
It's never a good thing.
No, it's not.
Ever.
It's very
Ever.
bad.
In every anime where the moon has kind of been like a partial casualty of something, I'm like, this is foreshadowing the future. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's usually bad news. I do also want to give a shout out to Okubo again for making a pretty solid commentary on the way in which children are treated in certain, I guess in this case it's Japanese society, but broadly, that Nataku's problem was highlighted in this episode as being the result of years and years and years of adults pushing their desire for success and perfection onto their children. And even though it's not 100% obvious, if you go back 3 or 4 episodes, because they not only foreshadow it, but they talk about it, over the course of this arc. But Rekka, the Rekka ghost in his brain is not the source of his challenges. It's actually just a manifestation of the other things that happened to him before. And it was this line of adult after adult after adult after adult in his life pushing a kind of not just perfection, but this relentless, I would call it positivity, except it's not coming from a good place. But
toxic positivity.
Yeah, toxic positivity onto him, and he's just a child. And maybe he was exceptional in other ways before he got magical superpowers vis-a-vis the show. But you could take that story that they told about how his parents constantly used his success as a hammer against him to undermine him when he inevitably, as a child, failed or didn't live up to expectations and everything else. And it's all really just a metaphor for that concept of learning how to live within your means as a child. It's okay to not get things right. It's okay to not necessarily be ambitious yet or not know what you want to do. I felt like that line when he was repeating what his mother was saying to him back and his face turned into a robot, constantly saying I can do it is kind of heartbreaking in general, even outside of this story. So I just thought it was a really good moment and narrative to continue. And the fact that its resolution was even the most brutal adults in his life essentially accepting that he can just be a kid. It's fine.
Okay.
In a twisted way, but it's fine.
Yeah, so the twisted manner in which they got to that conclusion is what made me... The entire time I watched it, I basically was just like, this is some fucked up... This is a child going through all of this stuff, and I'm just like, I don't even know how you can fix someone like that.
Well, you can't. I think the point that Charon made, weirdly enough, is that all the pillars are insane. Every one of them is batshit
even
crazy.
Shinra.
Shinra, even more than most. It's funny because Shinra's paired up with Arthur, who is portrayed as having ridiculous delusions, and those delusions are tied to his power. But Shinra is exactly the same way. They are the same character.
Oh shit!
It's the same character. Shinra is desperate to want to be a hero in his own mind, but the world created a demon out of him. And so all of his psychological hang-ups, his weird tick of smiling in a very demonic way and everything else is just is identical to Arthur's delusion that he's a knight or he's a king of the knights or all that other shit. It's just crazy, insane self-projection. And
Jesus, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So all the pillars are fucking crazy. But Charon's point was for 99% of people, Kurono's weird logic about it's okay for you to remain weak, you're just a child, stay as you are. 99% of people, that's not going to work. But in this 1% case, it's exactly the thing that Nataku needed to hear from exactly the right person.
Yeah.
Because Kurono is absolutely insane.
And that's the thing. That's the crazy part about it. It's just wait, so his insanity is balancing out his insanity.
Exactly.
And thus, he is his protector because he's basically the only one that can stop him from being a fucking walking nuclear bomb.
Correct. And also, Kurono doesn't actually, like, care about killing him or hurting him. Like, because he's crazy.
I don't think Kurono cares about him at all.
No,
to be honest,
not even
except
remotely.
I felt like what Kurono said to him is exactly what he meant.
Yes.
Stay weak.
Yeah,
because I want to continue beating your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
That is exactly what I got. I did not get a sentimental, like, you just stay weak, man. Like, you know, you need to live your, you know, just like live your life as it happens. Like, you're gonna get stronger. But there's nothing wrong with being weak. No, you meant stay weak because I actually enjoy beating the shit out of you.
Yeah, because that's what he believes. And I think that is perfectly sort of the point that Charon makes is then
it's twisted
is twisted. Then what Kurono says is even more twisted. And then Shinra's realization in the meeting with the Haijima president that all of the Eighth Company are his protector, right? That then is a much more palatable way of thinking about the air quotes power of friendship in a shonen than some of the other ways that it is presented, because it's not as if it's literal, right?
Well,
like
honestly, I feel like Shinra considering the Eighth as his protectors, I feel like that's kind of like a downside.
Yeah, no, it is
to
in a lot of
the
ways.
other pillars, because if the other pillars, well, first of all, they're on different levels of insanity than Shinra. So I already know if Ritsu dies, Inka ain't gonna give a fuck. She basically gonna be like, okay, so who's protecting me next?
Correct.
But
it's not a two-way
Shinra
street at all.
Yeah, it's not a two-way street. Same with Haumea. She made it very clear.
Oh, yeah, she made it clear in several episodes. She even told Karen to fucking kick rocks and then started torturing the other one. Started torturing Arrow, right? So
I feel like that's a huge weakness for Shinra, where I'm like, you have multiple protectors that you actually care about.
Yeah,
and if someone ends up putting their life on the line for you, that's already a depression arc training thing in the making right there. Like, that's a weakness.
Well, one of the things that they brought up a lot, and I think it will, I mean, I know it will, but it becomes more and more of a central issue later, is that the source of a lot of these powers is Adola. And as we've already been told, in some ways Adola is that world is really just a reflection of human belief and desire. So if you step back a bit, it's a similar concept to what you see in a lot of shonen shows, where it's the idea that your powers are somehow connected to like your will or some like collective will or anything. I mean, there's a whole lot of like interesting metaphysical ideology stuff that's like rolled into there, or philosophy. But like, but leaving that to the side, there is some benefit for someone like Shinra to both acknowledge and be acknowledged by the Eighth as a conglomerate rather than like individuals looking after him, because if collective will creates power and may even shape the world that they're in, then having large, like Shinra's character as it's been presented so far is itself a metaphor for like how cultures and large groups of people sort of place their hate or their love into icons. So you can imagine a situation where that is a big benefit for him powers wise, if that makes any sense. Having large groups of people. So anyway, it's a whole, I like the idea, and I think they explored a lot of it in this episode.
All right, then.